But I'm very in tune with my past and my past lives. And my last life just so happened to be a very infamous one.
Hitler gender? I'm fairly certain this is even too crazy for the far left. On second thought, actually, when you think about it, doesn't the far left hate Jews in Israel? Is there ever a right time to make that joke?
Me offing myself was one of the first memories I had from that lifetime. Came to me when I was 5 in my nightmares. You can see right where I shot myself too. That and just so many other things throughout my life have connected me to my past.
I actually believe in past lives. Surprise, surprise, the lesbian that's into astrology also believes in past lives. But the thing is, if you really were Hitler in a past life, why would you want to talk about that? Like, would you really want to bring that forward into this life? Like, that negativity? And I don't think this person's trolling, by the way. They have a ton of other videos on their TikTok. And no, I do not want you to send them any hate their way. I do think this person is mentally ill, as are a number of other videos that I chose to react to this week.
So after a several days long gender crisis, I am pretty certain I use they, he pronouns. And yeah, I just want to let you know I am still trans femme. I am still on HRT. I am not detransitioning or anything. Just my gender is a complete nightmare. I don't know what's going on with it right now.
So I've been making videos as a lesbian on this channel for the past 12 years. And honestly, looking at these people, looking at these kids, I really do believe that they're struggling. But this is what happens when you make gender or gender ideology and your identity your entire life. And of course, also if you are struggling with mental health issues. We're seeing this over and over again. It's a consistent trend in the LGBT community, or at least the teenage world right now. And I don't think anyone explained it as well as this young woman did.
No one ever explained to me that puberty would be a difficult time emotionally. I knew, of course, that like hormones were high and like my body would change, but that was about it. No one ever told me that it's a strange feeling going from sort of childhood to adulthood. And the difficulty of that does not point necessarily to your gender identity. It just points to sort of your own discomfort and mental health.
It really is such a shame that we've gotten to this point where we feel the absolute need or necessity to validate everybody's identities and their feelings, in doing so with a total disregard for someone's actual mental health status, which we know can be a major contributing factor in all of this.
Because it's really not like he the way you use it for men. It's he in the masculine woman kind of way, which is kind of what my whole gender is going for. My whole gender is supposed to be girl who's trying to be a boy, not boy who's trying to be a girl. So yeah, I hope it makes sense. I'm really sorry if it makes no sense.
Okay, this is not just confusing to me, I'm sure, but I do this for a living and I'm confused. Does that mean that this person thinks that they're trans? Like, I'm assuming that they were born male, wanting to be a woman, but at the same time, they want to be seen as a woman who wants to be a man? What? I mean, at least this person knows what they're going for, I guess.
The other day I was out at a bar and I asked this girl if she knew where the bathroom was, and she was like, yeah, it's right over... Because she couldn't decide whether to send me to the men or the women's bathroom. So I would just like to say that I am winning gender right now.
You know, every once in a while, I just want to remember the good old days when, you know, there were butches and femmes and tops and touch-me-nots and even pansexuals. We knew who we were regardless of how we presented ourselves. And now we are at the point where someone being misgendered or not gendered is affirming to them. I mean, unless someone really is truly non-binary in a sense that they wouldn't feel comfortable living completely as one sex or the other, which it seems that this person is, I could kind of get on board with that. I know I'm gonna get shit for that, but gender dysphoria is a spectrum. But one thing I will never understand, and maybe my age is showing here, but I will never understand people like this saying that they are enjoying the chaos.
So recently, walking to and fro from my job, I am now starting to get identified as femme presenting to the point where people call me ma'am, or people call me like miss, or things like that. And it's still wrong because I'm non-binary, but there's like a real fun, like chaotic part of that where I can respond in a way that makes them go, what?
Okay, this is what bothers me about it. Being trans or having gender dysphoria isn't fun. And this is going by every single actual transsexual person I know. It is not fun to be misgendered. It is not fun to go through trauma with your body, going on medications, having surgeries. Gender isn't something that you can switch on and off like your Game Boy Color in 1997. I mean, we see videos like this and we no longer have to wonder why so many teenagers are identifying as trans or non-binary or queer these days.
Because I'll intentionally like lower my voice and they'll be like, excuse me, ma'am, can you help me out with this? I'm like, yeah, what's up? And I think my gender is the emotions of straight people being utterly confused. Like, I just want to instill chaos, and like, that's my pronouns. That's my gender. That's my identity.
Gender isn't chaotic. Gender is not a fun way to rebel against your parents. Gender is simply two things. It is feeling at home in your body, aka not having gender dysphoria, or not feeling at home in your body, aka having gender dysphoria. At least that's how I tend to explain it to most people at the very basic level of it. Because gender, meaning how you feel in your body, and sex, biological sex, are very different. But we still have these trans activists, whatever people, whatever you want to call them, claiming that biological sex isn't real, conflating biological sex, gender ideology, and reality. Not okay.
Period poverty doesn't just affect women. Two-spirits, trans men, non-binary people, and genderqueer people can all have periods.
Well, yeah, because those people that you just mentioned are all born female. Listen, it makes sense if we use gender to explain to somebody else how somebody might identify, meaning their internal sense of themselves, if they have gender dysphoria or not, versus biological sex, how someone is born and wired. This is the sort of thing that happens when you conflate the two and teach someone that they are the same thing.
Biological sex. Like, your chromosomes dictate everything, and you'll never be a real boy or a real girl. Do you know how easy it is to completely change your body with hormones? I grew a penis within my first month of being on testosterone.
No, you did not grow a penis. You cannot grow a penis. What happens is when you go on testosterone as a female person, your clit does grow. Sometimes maybe up to about that big or something. It happens also when female bodybuilders go on testosterone or hormones.
I started having full-blown boy puberty around month 3 or 4. Trans women can grow breasts, exactly like cis women can.
No, not exactly like a biological woman can, let's be honest now.
Trans women can lactate. Everything you think you know about how bodies are set in stone and can't be changed, you're literally just wrong.
Interestingly enough, trans women can start to lactate if they are on HRT for an extended amount of time, but we don't have time to talk about that in this video. A video on that alone coming very soon. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, so you're the first one to see it when it comes out.
The gender binary is a direct result of European colonization. And if we look globally and historically throughout the world and the ways that people have existed and talked about gender, the idea of there only being two genders is a new concept that is directly linked to white supremacy.
Well, yes and no. I mean, the issue once again here isn't with white people, although the far left loves to just blame everything on whiteys. The issue here once again is with words and the definition of said words. Definition of what gender is versus the definition of what sex is. And why it's important that the two things are very different. At least in helping people understand what transgenderism even is. Most cultures throughout history have seen gender and sex as the same thing. Male and female.
A. Francis Geronimo Louis. I am Chiricahua Apache born for Diné. I identify as a two-spirit individual. There's some mountains over there.
Geronimo identifies as one of the 4 sacred and ancient gender identities from his culture.
We have masculine, 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 feminine, 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 masculine. Masculine feminine is something that I gravitate towards both spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally.
And some cultures, of course, see gender not being the same thing as sex. They see gender as a construct, a social construct, a way of being, a way of expression, a way of feeling. How someone acts, dresses, speaks, things they like to do, what they feel like their purpose in life is for their family, for themselves, for their tribe, which is okay. But if this is true, then gender is completely dependent on culture. Depending on where you are in the world, what time you were born into this world. Someone born in the 1500s in the Middle East would have a very different experience of gender than somebody born in 25,000 BC in Egypt. So what they're saying is that gender is social, not biological. And if that is true, then why are we blaming white people, which is a biological thing, not a social thing? Just saying, try to keep your arguments consistent. Can we blame colonization on ideas of what gender is? I mean, yeah, I guess so, but then you have to blame everything every colonization that's ever happened. I mean, look at this tweet recently. It says, I'm not non-binary anymore because too many white people are doing this. Either this is the biggest troll of the week, or it's leftists looking to further pigeonhole themselves, basically. In a very weird way, this is also very reminiscent of calling Christianity out for being homophobic, but not coming at people with that same energy when it comes to Islam and Muslims. I mean, according to the left, we are told that if somebody is oppressed, they cannot simultaneously be an oppressor. White people are oppressors, so all white people are bad. But the truth is, all religions, all races, all cultures, all genders, all sexual orientations have had both good and bad ideologies throughout history. I will say that this one is currently my least favorite out of all of them.
If gender is on a spectrum, then homosexuality doesn't really exist.
I mean, this is just the perfect way to end this video, because this is literally going on to try and just full stop, bitch. Like full trying to erase homosexuality. Even though it's been proven scientifically to be a thing, even though it's been documented in over 500 different animal species on this planet, all for the validity of 20-something-year-olds who are lost in life. But yeah, that's where we're at. But that is where we're at in this day and age in regards to LGBT people and just woke ideology in general. You know what? Job security. Let's just go there. We will just stay there. It is job security for me. The more crazy shit that happens, the more I can comment on it. And if you are not subscribed to this channel already, make sure you do so, because I post videos every single Sunday, as well as posting a ton of content that you've never seen before over on my locals page, ariel.locals.com. Link to that and to every one of my social networks in the description below. Other than that, I will see you guys back here in a few days with a brand new video. Until then, I love you, love yourselves. Bye.